Safety applies with equal force to the individual, to the family, to the employer, to the state, the nation and to international affairs. Safety, in its widest sense, concerns the happiness, contentment and freedom of mankind. Before this video starts, please consider pressing the like button and subscribe. In this video we'll be discussing why health and safety has to be taken beyond the workplace.
In some countries, health and safety has become such a large issue that has plagued millions that they must take strong steps to resolve. Minister Hamilton, in Guyana, told us this.
So the point is, it's beyond workplace safety. It's the issue, a national problem that we have to address. We have to find strategies to deal with it. We plan next year to use our central recruitment to go into schools to engage, to deal with the health and safety culture.
This comes after Minister Hamilton announced a comprehensive program to address health and safety culture across the country. Part of this strategy entails bringing about general knowledge and awareness of basic health and safety practices. Here is one example of why health and safety should be taken beyond the workplace.
A man in New Zealand, who worked at a heavy freighting company, as a truck driver was heading out on a routine route from Auckland to Wellington, and back again. Each day, he was instructed to inspect his truck, to make sure it'll run well for the day. This was an important part of his routine, as it got recorded, to prove that everything was fine. Auckland to Wellington is approximately 641 kilometers each way, meaning that he had to stay the night in small towns along his journey. This made it even more important to him to check and service his vehicle before setting off. Otherwise he'd increase his likelihood of a breakdown in the middle of nowhere. One part of his routine was checking that the certificate of fitness was up to date. This would indicate if the vehicle was out of date and needed a further, more in-depth inspection. Sure enough, the man's vehicle never had any major issues. This was because he inspected frequently and dealt with any issues immediately. There was one time, however, when the man's truck broke down in the middle of State Highway 1. This was due to a faulty oil pressure gauge. To fix this, the man could not drive his truck to the nearest mechanics without risking further damage to his vehicle. He decided to call up a mobile mechanic to come out with a spare part and fix the issue. Although he inspects his truck daily, he didn't think to double-check the pressure gauge. This costed him a pretty penny and made him late for his delivery. Sometimes, however, parts on motor vehicles experience general wear and tear. When the mechanic came out, the man also discovered that his engine's wear seems like more than the truck's odometer. The man decided to fix this. He'd install a hub odometer, which is a more accurate measure of the distance the truck has traveled. With a bit of driving, the man estimated that the truck has done approximately 20,000 more kilometers than expected. This was a significant change, meaning that the truck was due for a service. The certificate of fitness for his vehicle passed with no faults, as the man fixed up everything beforehand. However, later that night, as he was driving home in his own vehicle, something happened. The man doesn't often inspect his own car. He doesn't really like doing it at all. He only does it at work because he has to. This meant that his personal vehicle hasn't been checked in years. As he was driving home from work, the check engine light came on. The man decided to ignore it for about a week, or until he felt bothered to take a look at it. He took it in to get inspected by a professional, and turns out that his beloved car has been severely underserviced and checked up on. The last time it was checked was 2 years prior. There was irreparable damage. to the engine, shocks, and electronics of the vehicle. If the man wanted any of these fixed, he'd have to pay thousands to replace all the damaged parts. Too much, compared to the value of the vehicle. The mechanic knew the man drove trucks, and told the man that next time, he must regularly inspect his personal vehicle too. Because all the damage that occurred to his personal car could have been avoided. The man learned a valuable lesson, although he hated doing it. He learned that to avoid damages or worse, he had to practice good health and safety outside of work, as well as at work.
Thank you all for watching. We hope that this video has been educational for you. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to FitFleet on YouTube. Let us know what you'd like to see next. Bye.